I guess we'll see.
Alright, come on, let's go have a cup of tea. This is the thing, I'll be honest. Doc doesn't fully trust Jenny. Just for a few reasons. Doc doesn't trust that Jenny didn't know about all the stuff Pred was doing. I feel like Jenny told Doc some stuff, and I can't remember all of it, but and then obviously Jenny living and being with Michael Simone after everything. So you right?
Yeah.
Have we got any tea? Well, have you got any tea? I know I've got tea.
There should be some stash in the cupboard, I believe.
Okay. I'm walking the road, Etta.
Jaywalking's legal.
Oh, I don't know what you heard, but Flop got shot today.
What?
Yeah. Some scene. I think it was a kidnapping or something. Yeah, he got shot. He's all right. A couple holes through his lung, but he got patched up. He's up and walking. He's fine. He's on. They gave him a blood bag to take home, so he's resting up at home.
Did they catch the person who did it?
Yeah, they caught the guy.
Okay, good.
Apparently, he's going away for like a year or so. I saw in the papers. I don't think it was the same guy, but the same incident. A guy went away for like 3,000 and same months. Yeah, so I don't know what that is.
Good.
Well,
I mean, robbery of a government employee is a year. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's a year.
I can't do it. It's a year.
It's a year.
I abstained from that vote. I couldn't do it. And if he took the weapon, then that's another year.
There you go.
So. All right. Well, I mean, I was wanting to ask him about the Parks and Rec thing that Juno had started.
You should. You should start with that, and you should kill him with kindness.
Okay.
Don't do anything differently. Only do more. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Don't do anything different, but also just kill him with kindness.
Okay.
Okay.
It's hard.
Constantly communicate. Constantly push it in his face. Constantly be nice about him. Constantly ask what you can do. Say, hey, say, well, let me do this, but what do you think? And constantly just, that's what you got to do.
Get some common ground with him, too. Like, if he's pissed off about something, that you can do a poker face and be like, yeah, fuck that thing. Do that. You know what I mean? Even if it's something you don't really agree with, you know, maybe something's about the state, and he's like, fuck the state. And you're like, yeah, fuck the state. You know what I mean? Although, don't do too much, don't do treason or anything like that.
No.
All right.
That's the thing, is that I can't.
No, I know. I've been in a similar boat.
My position is probably the most strict on the council.
I should have a cup of tea. Rob and G saying I should put my name forward for commissioner. And then I was like, you know, that's right. Nobody would want me in that position in the first place. And then I don't know whether I would. Why would nobody want me? Because I think I'd piss a lot of people off. I think because I'd like, you know, I don't like saying it like this, but I wouldn't. I'd whatever the job description was, which from what I heard is accountability, I'd do that. You know what I mean? I imagine they'd want someone more malleable. I'm pretty black and white on most things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suggested you, Jenny. I suggested Jackie, maybe. But I was saying this to Flop. I was like, listen, you as a person, as an officer, senior officer, whatever, this kind of stuff is pretty much out of your control, you know? So I was like, control what you can. And I was like, maybe you could go and find that person who would be right for commissioner, maybe try and convince them to do it and put their name forward. That's the only thing I could think of to, like, you know, help the situation a little bit. But then it's also like, now I know about what you're doing, what the others are doing. It's like when they come in, talk to them and tell them the truth, you know? And make sure that they know everything and you're not like covering for anybody, and make sure everybody's got the full picture of things. Yeah, I don't know.
This is just I feel like I went into this very naive. I had high hopes that we were really going to be able to get a lot accomplished and that it would be smooth sailing because we all had what was best for the city, you know. We all wanted to do what was best for the city. But apparently we're the minority on the council.
One more time, just it goes in my head again. Say that one more time.
I feel like I went into this very naive. I somehow expected us all to work together. You know, the first couple of meetings, you know, there were disagreements, but we were able to talk it out and, you know, find compromise that worked for everybody, you know.
Doesn't it sound exactly like the end of 3.0 High Commander?
And then it just slowly but surely got more fractured.
Everyone was on the same page for a while, and then like Svensson started going,
and now he has his wife as his chief of staff on the council, who he has spousal privilege with, which is
I don't really see the issue with that, because the whole point of the chief of staff is to just blindly be his yes man.
Yeah, I really think that should be changed, if I'm honest.
wait, what? What is like the sheet is just supposed to like follow the mayor?
Yes.
That shouldn't be a seat on the council then.
Exactly.
It's literally the deputy mayor position from before.
Yeah. I want it.
What it's supposed to be realistically is, if I let's put it this way: when everyone knows how I work, I praise in public, punish in private. So how it should be is that your chief of staff is the person who outwardly says they defend everything that you say. They're like, what they say is Bible, what they say is gospel. They agree, and then privately, really, the chief of staff should be challenging the deputy mayor and working together. But it doesn't always work that way. Like, some people don't want that. They don't want somebody to criticize them. They want someone who is just going to be on their side through and through.
Yeah, I agree. It sounds like a free vote. Do you know what I mean?
It's exactly what it is.
That's what it is.
It shouldn't be a thing that shouldn't. To me, that doesn't represent the city at that point. That represents the mayor. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, every seat should represent a part of the city.
But how do you make the mayor powerful if he is equal on every footing? Because the mayor is supposed to be slightly more powerful.
No, I agree. I guess I'm ignorant to what his other powers would be. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what else he can do other than, you know, have a seat at the council. You know what I mean?
He literally sat there and prided himself on being the voice of the people. Yet some of his policies are things that everybody hates.
They still voted for him, Etta. He wasn't, like, this is the reality. He wasn't quiet about the adoption one-child policy to the 300 people that voted for him.
Yeah, I know.
They still accepted that. They said, okay, that is a suitable thing, and that is fine.
And that's why I pretty much told, like, the people that still complain about it, I'm like, well, nobody is taking it to the mayor, so if you're not going to do anything about it, clearly you're not that upset about it. So that's why I conceded to the amendments to make it less strict. Because everybody came bitching to me for days, all day, every day. And I was just like, you need to tell the mayor. You need to tell the mayor. You are preaching to the choir. And nobody did. So I was like, well, clearly you're not that bent about it. So.
Well, no. That's it. Everyone wants to complain, but they don't actually. Like, it's the same way that Michael gets mad over people complain on Twitter instead of calling him in the yellow pages and having the conversation with them.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And the reality is that that room was never going to be, like, unanimous for a long time. There's a lot of personality in there. All with their own agendas, all with their own set of idealisms. Like, it was never going to be kumbaya for long.
Yeah. Okay, well,
you got this. You were put there for a reason. Don't forget that.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm selling out if I have to play nice.
Why are you selling out? You can play both sides and still get your point across.
I am far too much of a candid, honest person to.
And you gotta find it in you, Etta. You're not in a playground of nice people anymore. You're in a den of snakes. You gotta find your backbone.
I have a backbone.
But
I can't be nice to people who are just
Mountain. People hate it when you're nice to them. When you know, when they know that you don't like each other. Believe me, I know.
Yep.
I hate it because they just want you to be mad. That's what they want. They want you to lash out, be emotional. But if you don't do that,
things on you to get under your skin. If you don't give them that, I want to sit there and call you stupid and watch you go, "How dare you talk to me like that?" And be like, "Okay, thanks."
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's why when he was goading me, I didn't respond because I didn't see the point.
I mean, and also you're working on a different line than they are. You were appointed by by Crane. You're not on the same wavelength of him. They're for different reasons, and you were put there by different people. So the expectations of you both are entirely different, and I think right now they're both clashing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but the mayor isn't like, he doesn't control the council. It's a council for a reason. And if you think that, like, he's abusing his position to influence the council that's supposed to be equal footing, then that's it. That's a different kettle of fish. You know what I mean? Like, that needs to be, I don't know what that needs to be. I don't want to give you advice on that. I don't know what I'd do, but. So, get this clarified for me. This is not really specifically to do with this, but so the council is mostly like elected officials, right?
Yes, everybody is elected except for myself and Justice Crane.
And who like oversees the council? Like who holds the council?
The federal government.
Who holds the mayor accountable?
Basically, Justice Crane is the mouthpiece for the, and the go-between for the federal government, and the federal government are the ones who hold him accountable.
Okay.
I mean, the council, we could, put forth a vote of no confidence should we ever, deem it necessary, but,
right. Okay, I just wanted to get that clarified because I didn't know how that worked.
I mean, that goes for anybody on the council that was elected, and you know they can put in a vote of no confidence. So,
yeah. One thing that did concern me today was, I think Flop said that the both the captains and the mayor hadn't spoken about all the issues. So I guess, well, I mean, that's a problem in and of itself, right? But then what that, I guess, implies is that the mayor heard the problems from non-captains. And what that worries me specifically is that the mayor didn't hear the problems from Nakoda, the PD liaison.
that's because those officers didn't go to Nakoda. They went to the mayor.
Why didn't they go to Nakoda, though?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nakoda was also just, you know, wondering the same thing. Like, you know, how why are they all coming to you and not me? You know,
Maybe that position doesn't feel very, or doesn't have the perception of being, I guess, important. Maybe. I don't know. I'm spitballing.
Well, okay, let me put it another way. And I'll use you as an example. Why the fuck would you go to IA when you could just go bitch to a captain? It was the same thing in RPD.
Oh, you think like that's the perception of Nakoda's position is like?
Yeah. Why would you go to
PD?
Nakoda? No. Why would you go to Nakoda, who technically is not in charge of other than going to the council, when you can go to the mayor, who can actually, like, you know, swing his dick around?
Yeah, I guess.
The power, because Nakoda is technically still, even as the liaison, is still underneath those captains. So it's like, what kind of power does he actually have?
That is kind of weird. I thought it was gonna be a captain. Like, I thought the liaison was just gonna be one of the captains, because that to me makes more sense, right? Or
yeah,
like the liaison should be like the chief of police, who's like the head of the PD or something.
And I want to make it completely clear, I'm not shitting on Nakoda here. I'm just looking at the
no, me neither.
of how
I get
of how I can read it. And as I read it, as poor Nakoda is basically a mouthpiece to nobody. He has no power within the PD other than being the liaison. He still answers to the captain while also having the captains argue with the mayor. Where the fuck does he fit in?
Okay, so here's a question then. Here's a hypothetical. Let's say for example, this bill that just passed. So let's say the captains all said, we don't want this bill to pass. And they said that to Nakoda, and Nakoda took that into consideration. But then Nakoda went to every single officer and got their opinion, and the majority said, yes, we want this bill. In that situation, does Nakoda act for the captains or for the PD as a whole?
It should be for the PD.
It should be for
it should be, right?
See, and that's the thing, is that it's a very fine line that he has to walk. And this is a new position too. You know, it's like he's still trying to maneuver through all of this. I mean, we all are.
But if the PD do not recognize that, like, again, you're working with humans who are volatile. So if the PD think for a second that Nakoda might be influenced by outside parties, why would they trust him? You know, even if he go up to you and go, I'm going to vote everything in favor of what is best for the PD. I'm going to talk to you all. Even if the captain seems to waver because one of the captains says no, that's going to make doubt. And that doubt immediately gets snowballed because everyone dooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, wrong. Wow. That's made me glad that I'm not a assistant chief anymore.
Yep. The thankless task that and it's a horrible mountain that Nakoda is going to have to climb, and it's going to have to come based purely on the respect that he has from his fellow officers.
Yeah. And I mean, he's been great. He has been probably my I don't want to say ally because it's not, you know, but he has been a great help and a friend to me through this whole thing, because we've both been trying to navigate this together. You know, Philippa too. Like I said, this is all new to all of us. None of this has ever happened before, and we're all trying to do the best that we can. But, you know, some of us are just willing to talk more than others. So, but yeah, but I will put my best foot forward, and I will reach out to Max, and I will just spam text him if need be.
Yeah.
How can I help? What can I do? And if he refuses to respond to me, then at least I did what I could.
Tried, yeah.
Exactly. Listen, if give me a call anytime. If I don't pick up, just send me an email just in case. There might be phone off, and I'll come chat whenever.
Okay. So I'm just afraid that this is going to get a lot worse before it gets better.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm gonna go jump my fence. If you need me, Etta, I am literally a single phone call away, and I'm a fence away. So, yep, don't hesitate.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Be safe. I love you. Appreciate you too. Be safe,
I
Derek.
love you
I love
too.
you too.
You too, Journey.
Yeah, see? You get stuck in the house on a few marathons, and now look at you. Walk up into this mess.
Don't know about you or me yet.
Talking about you. Take a few days to just, marathon some TV shows and come back to me being Chicken Little with the sky is falling.
Listen, I think my position in this family has I like to think that I can just be here for advice now, and I was once available to, well, I was unavailable for a long time because I was a busy guy dealing with a lot of things, and I don't have that to worry about anymore. So I'm here for you guys,
Listen, don't open that door because I will use it often. Because I struggle to get a hold of Flop and Matt. And there are even days when Sean can't be around. Like right now, he's out of town for a while because he had something come up, and it's just, he feels terrible that he can't be here when I'm going through all of this, but
that's what family's for, So, on the plus side, I finally got Captain Tony's number, and so we should be setting up an interview, hopefully sooner rather than later. So,
yeah, he did say that he would be around more, and especially given everything that's happening, it's I'm not gonna lie, I still think that there is a potential that I might end up getting hurt, but I am made of sturdy stock. So I am built different. You don't have to worry. But you are my emergency contact. So Sean is my primary, but since he's out of town right now, I made you the next. So
yeah, just obviously not officially, but anyone comes knocking, you just remind them what family they're messing with.
I just sometimes it just feels very lonely. Because, they're all on duty, I mean, and I used to be on duty with them, but now I just have to kind of be available. But now I just feel like I'm setting myself up for a target now that they've outed the fact that all the council members have weapons licenses.
Yeah. That's the unfortunate reality of being essentially, you know, it's like being the king in the castle. You know, all your family are left being peasants because you're, you know, all important up in your castle now, and it is a lonely. It's a lonely life because you're so busy dealing with everything else that you don't get to see people.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing is making sure that all of us make time for each other, you know? So, if we're not, you let us know. Because I let them know, believe me.
Yeah, I had texted, you know, all of you with the emergency contact thing just to kind of have a record that I was trying to not so subtly say that I was afraid something bad might happen.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see that.
It's okay. It's okay. I but I saw Matt and I asked him to check his text messages and he was like, "Okay, well, I don't like that." But, you know, I mean, there were only like 4 units on duty yesterday, so I wasn't going to try and bother him cuz you know how he gets really flustered when, you know, he needs to be out on patrol and people keep trying to rope him into conversations and
Yeah, about that. He's, I don't know. He's different lately. I've seen him flustered before, but not like this. I don't know.
yeah,
Like it,
he and I had a brief conversation about the legislation and he sounded very almost desperate for
I don't
help.
like that.
I mean, honestly, the biggest issue is third shift. Third shift is where they struggle the most. But that's
Yeah.
always been the case. Third shift numbers have always been shit no matter what, not even PD. Like, I always had the hardest time trying to staff Harmony during third shift.
That's the thing now,
But
is I don't know what's changed that much because if 3, yeah, it was always less numbers, but that often provided avenues for growth between officers that didn't really happen in other shifts. So it's much more tight knit, and everyone just kind of pushed through together. And I'm not getting
yeah.
that from Matt anymore. You know, I don't know whether it's a leadership thing, it's just general morale. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what, you know, because he was very much like, I'm not coming back into this and taking on more than I can handle. And we were actually having a conversation because we were talking about it. And he was telling me, because he was cautioning me not to take on too much because he saw that the hours that I was working, you know, taking for EMS and stuff like that. And he was just like, you need to take it slow. Don't do too much. You're going to burn out. But then, you know, he was talking about how, you know, the numbers were struggling. And he was like, you know, I'm being part of the problem because he wasn't FTOing. And he was like, so I need to go fix that. And then he left me and went straight to Turner and asked to be an FTO. And now, bless his heart, you know, he's ended up taking out 2 cadets at a time because they have so many cadets.
Yeah.
Because the majority of their FTOs don't show up. And I mean, I can tell you right now, like, from what I knew back then to what I've seen now, the people that they brought on were never going to dedicate full time and shouldn't have been considered at this point. Other people should have been brought in who would dedicate the time. But now, you know, you've got people who, you know, if one thing doesn't go their way, then they'll go 42. And it's not That's not what we need right now, especially in these, you know, in these beginning months or weeks, whatever. Because I know when I was brought in on the skeleton crew for EMS, like, we were told that we had to be willing to dedicate all of our time because it was going to be crucial for coverage. And I thought that PD was the same, but then they started hiring really ridiculous people who I couldn't take seriously, and I think therein lied a lot of the issues. So a lot of the FTO's time and energy was wasted on people who never showed up again. So I think in that respect, you know, because I'm not going to sit here and say that, you know, there weren't some bad decisions made. Clearly there were, or else they wouldn't be in the position that they're in. And yes, there needs to be some change, but the way that I saw it was that the council and the PD should have been working hand in hand. Like, okay, we're getting, you know, these complaints from, you know, constituents, you know, here's what we get, here's our feedback, you know, we need you to handle this. Now, on that same note, what do you need from us to be able to handle that issue? You know, like, what tools do you need to stop this? You know, do you need, you know, like, they needed money for academy. I told them, give me an itemized loadout for each cadet and I will give you the money. And they did. And I gave them the money. You know, because we don't do the whole, here's, you know, $5 million for the month. Do with it what you will. No.
Right.
I need to see exactly what the money's going for. So, and they get exactly that amount.
So it's like you're doing your job.
Exactly. I mean, and that's the way it's been. I did the same for EMS, you know, but like when I'm constantly pushing to, you know, get this and get that, and I'm being told no, no, no. I mean, and people are constantly wanting pay raises because other jobs are paying more, and it's just like the minute that we did pay raises,
job, is it?
Well, I mean, for the government workers.
Oh, I see. Right.
Group 6 was paying so well that nobody wanted to go on duty. EMS were doing Group 6 instead. Cops were doing Group 6 instead. Nobody was working the mechanic shops. It was just like, it was a nightmare. Like, Group 6 was literally, you know, so then we removed the ability for anybody with a felony to be able to work at Group 6.
That was a good idea.
Yeah, and that helped. So, and then we gave the government workers a pay raise. Like, everybody got an extra $100 an hour. But the thing is like, we're riding such a fine line right now because all of the government pay comes out of the state account now. It's not federally subsidized like it used to be.
Right.
And so, like, I need to make sure that the numbers are still going up.
No, I do not envy you at all. I'll be honest.
And it's like, I try to explain that to people, and all they think is, oh, well, there's, you know, X amount of money in the state account, so clearly we can spend it. It's like, well, no, because there needs to be enough money in there that if things start to go bad, we have enough money to carry us until we can fix it. Because if we start trending backwards and, you know, it's a lot, I need to be able to have enough money in the account to, you know, keep us in the positive until we can get it fixed. You know what I mean? So does that make sense? It's like almost
no,
a cushion.
100%. Yeah, I got an idea for you. I'm not as good at this as you, but this could serve two birds with one stone, right? What about if everybody had to pay like a tax every, like, let's call it a week, and we'll maybe like call it like national insurance or something like that, right? And basically what it could be is, if you don't pay your national insurance, you don't get free healthcare or something like that. And whenever you go to the hospital, you have to like pay them, I don't know, let's call it like $200 for the healthcare. But what that might do is, not only is it encouraging people to pay the tax, but it's optional, right? You don't have to do it. But then people might take better care of themselves, so they don't have to go to hospital if they don't want to pay the tax in the first place, you know? Because then we get less injured people calls, less people driving like arseholes, and we also get a bit more money in the account.
Ugh. Do you realize that people were calling for my head on a platter because of utilities?
Oh no. Yeah. Good
Sadly,
point.
As good as that would be, although Matt did bring up a point of everything, like a portion of fines going into the PD budget account.
That's a really good idea. Yeah. That's I think that should be a thing already.
Like, and it's on my agenda to talk to Alan about when I see him next, you know, and it's like, yeah, because I didn't forget.
Because it's basically an incentive for PD to work harder, because they, in the roundabout way, can get a pay rise from that.
Yeah, but then you remember how it went, like when, you know, PD started getting a kickback from the fines, and everybody was like, oh, well, I'm just having these charges stacked against me so that way PD can get more money out of me.
I know what you're saying, but I think I was high command at that point, and we did not hear, like, I can't even remember a single incident where that actually happened. Where people were doing that to get more money. I cannot remember a simple complaint.
That's because Yell would have come down on their heads for being...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not the kind of look or optic that, you know, this PD wants. So I'd have to see, A, that the captains were even okay with it, first of all, and then B, you know, if it's something that the government would even allow.
Yeah.
I mean, because it would solve a lot of the issues, honestly. But then, like, would it be too much money? You know?
Yeah, maybe. Could be. I don't know.
And then, like, do we just start, you know, okay, you're going to have to give me some of that. You know, like, okay, you need to give me, yeah, y'all have too much money. Because, like, some of these fines... especially when people start getting into the bigger stuff. I mean, homeboy, you know, just got billed like $100,000. You know, how much of a kickback would that be? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. He robbed and he robbed a cop. So he got 1 year or 2 years, and then over $110,000 fine.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because it's $100,000 to be in possession of a government issued firearm. We did not fuck around with that charge.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, cops were being robbed left and right for their guns.
You know what's one thing that really shocked me that Flop said today? He said that he doesn't know if anybody in the PD so far has actually written a search warrant. That, like, concerned me.
Because I know that there was a raid. Sean was telling me about it. I remember hearing it over the radio because I was EMS at the time. It was like in the very beginning, like in the first few weeks after we opened the borders back again. somebody actually got raided because there were issues being able to access all of their cabinets and, you know, all of their stashes and things like that.
Right.
So
The reason it worries me is because search warrants come with investigation, and investigation comes with time. So it's basically saying, to me anyway, the officers aren't writing search warrants because they don't have time. Because they're so busy responding to everything.
They definitely don't. Yeah.
It was like Cornwood, whether you like him or not, was saying today he's suspended, right? And he was like, I've been doing more police work off duty, and he's on about like investigations and finding shit out, than I have been on duty. And I was just like, yeah, that's because you don't have the obligation off duty to respond to all this stuff. And it's like, I was like, you know, that was the best part of PD for me, was when I could take the time, because I could rely on the other officers to patrol and respond to everything. And it gave me the time to like dig into some stuff, take the time to work my own stuff and do the work I wanted to do. And that was like the time when PD was at its best, because every cop on duty knew I can come on duty, I can do the work I want to do, and I know I'm still going to be helping everybody out, but I'm still going to enjoy the work I do. I'm not going to get burned out. And if need be, because I'm getting so much of my own work done, I'm so happy to go and help out with that 77 request down the road, because I've just had 3 hours of investigations to do because they're covering for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That just don't exist right now.
Not right now. It can't.
That's why I'm really wanting to get into dispatch, because I think I can help get a bit more priority on that kind of stuff and manage it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be great. Honestly, I would love to hear you controlling dispatch, because sometimes some of the dispatchers get a little too chatty. A lot of officers and even EMS, I've had to shut up some of the EMS, like, all right, y'all need to take that to a phone call, because they just get too comfortable. But whatchamacallit, I do want to say that I don't dislike Cornwood. I think Cletus is great. He has always been very nice, very polite to me. He has always been very well-meaning. He's even really funny. You know, he has his moments. But I think that although he has good intentions, he's pushing too much too soon. And it has kind of snowballed into what we're dealing with right now. Like, he wants very much to have his little Texas and his own department up north.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's a great idea.
Not the time.
Later, but not right now. Like, you know, and it's like people just, because I'm sitting here going, no, they think, oh, well, you're just shitting all over his dreams and you don't think he's good enough for blah. No, that's not it. It's that.
Right.
Although I did make the comment that I had to routinely pick him up off the ground in the first few weeks, because he would not feed himself.
Oh no.
To the point where I actually had to go to Senior Buns and buy him food so he would stop passing out, because I had other calls that I needed to get to. And I was like, if he can't even take care of his own basic needs, then, you know, how could he manage a department? But to be fair,
Jenny's advice. Remember what she said? She said, instead of saying no, just provide the alternative, and it won't seem like you're saying no. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, now he needs to sort out his whole employment situation before.
Yeah.
Which I can't speak on that. But I think he's great. And he is a good man. Just a little overzealous. And I think that's what we keep running into, is that people have such big dreams and big hopes and ambition, which isn't a bad thing. But they're still thinking about Los Santos the way it used to be, and it's not like that anymore. Things that we had back then won't be coming back. You know, we won't be able to do things now the way that we did then because we're trying to avoid making the same mistakes, right?
Right.
And it's breaking people out of that mindset is like the biggest issue. But I mean, to Cornwood's credit, he has gotten a lot better. I mean, despite, you know, the suspension and whatnot, I don't know all about all that, but you know, he did get to a point where he fed himself pretty regularly and he had lots of food on him for the meeting. So, you know, maybe he learned his lesson. But he's just always very like happy-go-lucky, you know, but at the same time, he also kind of I don't know. He tried to, I guess, approach me like why do people have an issue with me, you know, and whatnot, and I'm just like maybe right now while you're on an indefinite suspension, maybe you should wait until that gets sorted before you go asking those questions, because you know, if you're wondering why people are questioning your ability to do your job while you're suspended from said job, probably not a good look. You know what I mean?
Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, get that sorted first and then we'll talk, you know? But again, even if that wasn't even if he wasn't suspended, like it would still be a no, because the PD right now can't even be fully staffed as is. You think bringing in another department is going to help? If anything, it'll make it worse.
No, 100%. 100%. I like Cleanwood too. Cornwood, yeah. Is I mean, Dave was a perfect example. He's always got time for people, and that was the same 7 years ago as it is now by the looks of it, because he crashed into me at our courthouse, and he stopped and he spoke to me. He was like, how are you? What you been up to? You all right? I haven't seen you in ages, you know. But, you know, most people just drive off, you know what I mean? So it's a perfect example of the kind of person he is. But, yeah. Listen, I gotta head to bed. I'm gonna go grab a cup of tea and hit the hay.
Do me a favor, Richard.
Yeah?
Until some of this blows over, just don't mention that we're family. Because I don't want you missing out on any opportunities because of your connection to me. Okay?
I'll think about it.
Okay.
All right. You take care of yourself, please.
All right. Yes. And if you need anything, just call me and I will bring bandages.
All right.
Yes, I am still a medic. So, you know. And you don't have any stitches or anything. It's just bumps and bruises, right?
Just bumps and bruises. Bumps and bruises.
Okay. Well, there are ice packs in the fridge, so.
Okay. I'll leave it to it. I'm going to go, hit the hay.
Yeah, me too. Love you.
Love you too. All right, chat. That was a good day of RP, man. Really good day of RP. Who knows what's next for Richard, dude? I don't know. Today's kind of stirred the pot a little bit. I think it's gonna be I think if Richard gets his foot in the door when it comes to PD, that's gonna get really interesting. I genuinely do think if we get our foot in the door with dispatch, I think that could develop into much more than just being a radio guy. Yeah, I'm gonna call it early. Unfortunately, I think my grandma might be getting some bad news today, so that's why I want to call it early and see what's happening. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm excited for the RP. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.